Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another interesting interview by Financial Insight. My name is Mwelwa Kenneth and I'm currently at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Livingstone, Zambia, where I'm about to have a very interesting conversation on energy with our good friend Helen Lubamba, who is from Stanbic Bank Zambia. Yes, Stanbic Bank are currently involved with the Zim Zam 2025 edition, which is taking place on the Zambian side for this year. Helen, how are you?
Hello, Mwelwa. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great. We're in sunny, well, not so sunny Livingston,
Yeah.
and a lot happening at Zim Zam. You know, we understand obviously that the theme for this year's event is mines and energy, how stakeholders have fast-tracked private sector projects to become Africa's top investment, destination. Helen, are you able to paint a picture of the current state of energy in Zambia, particularly in terms of access, rural electrification, and where the most significant gaps remain?
Okay, so I guess we're going off theme then. Yeah, and I think I'll start with the theme and then I'll move into the rural electrification part. The theme really is critical because it's the mining energy nexus, as they call it. They're so intertwined. Yesterday I sat through a panel where we had some mining executives talking about what they've seen over the last few years with regards to energy. First of all, costs. The costs contribute a significant part to mining operations. Zimplat's said 12% of their costs are due to energy. And then secondly, mining operations just cannot work without energy. It's just as simple as that, as with anything else. But more critical for them, in Zambia, 55% of electricity is taken up by the mining sector. So the key thing that comes out of that is mining companies cannot sit back and allow others alone to address the situation. We can't just look to ZESA in Zimbabwe or to ZESCO alone. They also need to step up and see what they can contribute to trying to resolve the mining crisis for their operations, and which ultimately contributed to the growth of the nation. So we're seeing mining companies partnering in certain ventures in terms of the energy situation. You're seeing mining companies doing their own to supplement. I think you still have to worry about base load. So even if you're going to do solar, you still have to worry about the base load that needs to come from a more, so that you have more consistency in the supply that's coming into the operations. And then also partnering with other energy companies. We know, for example, FQM is partnering with Total Energies in terms of supplementing with solar and some wind in their operations. That's still work in progress. So intertwined, and therefore critical that the mines also play their part. And then on the part around the rural electrification, we cannot talk about economic growth when the majority of our people are not feeling it. And one of the things that we need to pick up the momentum in increasing the energy supply in the country, energy generation, energy transmission, energy distribution, is to have impact on lives of people. So if we're doing all these deals and people ultimately are not feeling it, and you're getting comments like, we're celebrating bringing on all these energy generation deals, but I'm still getting load shedded 20 hours. That is not impact. And therefore what that tells us, there's more to do.
Right.
And that is what we need to work harder, pick up the momentum. We've been challenged with 1,000 megawatts a year. So we are far from that, even in 2025. Huge pipeline, but far from meeting those targets that are needed.
Right. Helen, the bank this year was involved in the Chisamba project, which is a renewable project.
Yes.
From a bank perspective, how important are renewable projects, energy projects, for the long-term sustainability of energy supply?
Yeah. Critical for many reasons. One, the need to diversify our energy supply. Being 80% reliant on hydro has not worked for us. Climate change is real. Geographically, weather patterns have changed. So we're seeing where we've relied on hydro in the southern part of the country, we now need to start looking at other regions. So the renewable also applies to hydro. So we need to continue looking at that because that helps us with the with supplementing the base load. But we also need to look at other short to medium term solutions. You need to get these projects on as quickly as possible, and solar is one, which is quite quick to do. You can close installation can happen in a few months, and you can close a deal if it's well structured. You can close it in a good timely 6 months, for example. Hydro can take years. So whilst we're working on the short and the medium term solutions, we also need the longer term solutions. And then we've also been challenged to increase non-hydro renewables from the current just under 5% to about 33% by 2030. And it's doable as long as we pick up the pace in bringing these deals to fruition.
Right. Now, given the growing importance of private sector involvement, what role is Stanbic Bank playing in boosting participation, and how is the bank helping to attract and support private sector investment in energy?
Well, what we're doing is we're having to reevaluate ourselves. How do we look at deals? We cannot look at deals in a traditional way. So banking has to evolve with the evolving needs. So we need to look at more innovative ways of solutioning for some of the structures that we're doing. And previously, maybe if we look at some of the innovative ways we've done, for example, the emergency power imports that we did last year, there was a call to urgency. So therefore, we needed to address it in an urgent manner. And the reliance on ensuring that we had a structure that was robust, but also didn't put further strain on the fiscal. So that allowed us to be able to work with ZESCO without putting financial pressure on them, and be able to recoup the liquidity by using credit enhancement facilities provided through a structure that Greenco had put together. So the key thing is every single deal is unique, and you have to look at it in a unique way. But banks also need to shift how we look at a structuring. Yes, we need to protect our depositors' money. That's critical, but we also need to think differently to be able to bring on these solutions, and it can be done.
Absolutely. Now, on a final note, Zim Zam 2025 emphasizes collaboration and fast tracking of projects. How can regional platforms such as Zim Zam help unlock investment and accelerate delivery in both Zambia and the broader SADC region?
Yeah, we're so interconnected. So that's one. I mean, right now we share the Kariba, the water rights between ourselves with the Zambezi River Authority is shared 50-50 with Zimbabwe. So we're definitely interconnected. Our transmission lines are also interconnected. So when we solution, we need to ensure that we solution in a way that harmonizes policy and the governance around that we need to meet. So, and then also we've had a symbiotic relationship with Zimbabwe. Some of the power that ZESCO generates has been feeding into Zimbabwe, and also the need to start matching where we've got energy surpluses and energy deficits. Right now, as you go, the further north you go, the more surpluses you have. The further south you go, you're starting to see the deficits in energy. So the interconnectivity between the regions is critical, that we find solutions that match. So you can't have policy that's working in one country, but then when it gets to the border, suddenly that policy works against you. So harmonization of policy is important. So here we've seen a lot of policymakers, authorities. We've got ZERSA here. We've got the transmission and division here as well. From the Zimbabwe side, and equally on our side, we've also got the Ministry of Energies from both sides. We're represented here, as well as the regulation authority bodies. And that is to make sure that we have policies that doesn't work counterproductively, because policy shifts is what is actually helping this energy sector grow. As soon as policies, open access came in, we saw the opportunities and the investors. And there are a lot of investors here. So this has been a very productive.
I can imagine. Maybe if you could just share with us what the sentiment has been like so far. I know we've had the Zambia's country rating adjustment. Are investors a bit more upbeat now, you think?
Yes, they are. And the ratings adjustment is really just a confirmation of what we've already been seeing ourselves. But we have to rely on an international body to tell us that, okay, Zambia, you're good to go. It is confirmation that is needed for people sitting outside that are not seeing what we're seeing, because we're seeing the fundamentals coming right. So we are seeing potential investors from various parts of the world, including investors that are sitting here in Zambia, coming up with solutions, some very interesting solutions, some interesting structures. So we're sitting down with them and looking forward to materializing some of those deals materializing in the near future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Helen, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, Mwelwa. Thank you.
There you've heard it for yourselves. We've been speaking to Helen from Stanbic Bank. So stay tuned for more conversations on the sidelines of the 2025 edition of Zim Zam.